try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We've got to add a little addendum to the show map today, so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show where we bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, especially over on the technical analysis and on the charts, because guys, today we're going to be talking about a correction that Bitcoin has witnessed over just the last 24 to 48 hours. We've seen a drop from right just below $30,000 down to around $28,200. That drop very well may be in anticipation of something called the CME, something called the effective federal funds rate hike that will be coming out here in 2 days on May the 3rd. Now, if you watched the video that went out yesterday, our Saturday video, Climate of Crypto video, we talked about how moving up towards the May the 3rd date, where we see the effective federal funds rate hike come out at 0.25%, otherwise known as 25 basis points, that will likely lead to a market drop in the price of Bitcoin. Now, the reason that Bitcoin very well may be dropping there is because whenever we see the effective federal funds rate hike, that constricts the United States economy, because much of our economy is built on debt and credit, and is built on people borrowing money and sending money in overnight bank transfers, all of which are impacted by the base rate, the effective federal funds rate. When you increase the effective federal funds rate, you effectively make the cost of money go up, making the economy go through this tightening. It's almost like if you were to give yourself some kind of medicine that tightened your blood vessels to bring up your blood pressure. It acts something like that. And then lowering the effective federal funds rate would almost be like taking a vasodilator, where you widen the blood vessels, everything's able to move much more freely throughout your body, and your blood pressure would go down. That's similar to what we're talking about here in the United States economy. With the effective federal funds rate going up, there's this constriction going on. It's making things more difficult. It's making the gears of commerce in a modern free market economic capital-based market, the way that we live in, more difficult to function. And so that will have an impact on Bitcoin. Traditionally, this leads to a small drop in the stock market and a small drop in cryptocurrency. And it seems that today, Monday, May the 1st, may be the first day of a few days worth of drop that will take place before that EFFR comes out. And then following that, moving into CPI, it is very possible, therefore, that we will see a movement to the upside as we see the consumer price index come down and the inflation of the US dollar come down by maybe only 0.1 to 0.2%. We'll see how far. I have a theory it'll be a little bit more than that for reasons that we'll talk about in probably tomorrow or the next day's show. But for today, let's go ahead and kick the week off with a couple of really exciting announcements, and also with just some information on where the market stands right now. Now, before we get started, couple of announcements. I've got a really big announcement, two really big announcements, one that you might not like and one that I think you're really going to like. Oh man, I've been waiting to tell you guys this for like 3 weeks, and I've been kind of dreading it because I know you guys are not going to like this, but I promise you this is for the best. Coffee and Crypto is going to be shortened from an hour down to 45 minutes. And the reason for that is because as a one-man show, it takes a lot of my mental energy to do Coffee and Crypto. I love this show. This is honestly my favorite part of my work day, is coming here and talking with you guys. But something I've noticed, and that you've probably noticed, is that when I have an hour-long show, oftentimes I can kind of just ramble. And so I don't want to just sit here and ramble. I want to give you concise information that is rewatchable. It's much easier to rewatch a stream that's 45 minutes than an hour. It's much more easily digestible. It's a lot less scary for people that want to come back and watch the show later. And it also forces me, your host, to be a lot less long-winded. And yes, I'll still talk just as quickly, but hopefully I'll get to the point a little bit faster and cover all of the same information in 15 minutes less. And you guys will be better equipped for the day, even a little bit faster. And one of the other reasons why I've done this is because of my next announcement, and that is that our Climate of Crypto videos that have been going out on Saturday, it got delayed because of some postpartum things came up to Sunday last weekend. But on Saturdays, we upload our video Climate of Crypto. I put a ton of work and editing into that. I am actually going to be launching a second Climate of Crypto video that will be going up on Wednesdays. So I decided to shorten Coffee and Crypto at the same time. I'm putting more work into the video content, so you guys are going to be getting the same amount of content. In fact, you're going to be getting more frequent content, because now there's going to be an upload on Wednesday as well, starting this Wednesday. So 2 days from now, May the 3rd, there will be an upload in the cryptocurrency space. here on the Crypto Jebb YouTube channel. And I just want to let you guys know I've got a ton of other ideas floating around in my head up here. I have so much direction and vision right now. It's really, really exciting. I have a lot of ideas about where the channel is going to go and what we're going to do, but these are a couple of the big kind of brick-laying pieces that I had to put in place. So there you go. Those are the two announcements. Today's show is going to go from 10 to 10:45. That will be our new schedule. And with all of that energy that I'll be getting back, because I tell you what, guys, I love coffee and crypto, but just sitting here talking and having my brain on 110% for an hour straight, that gets tiring. And I do not mind being tired from work. But what I'm saying is I get tired and it's difficult for me to focus on making other content. So it being 45 minutes, I think will help to store up some of that energy to be able to put into video content, which you guys are really enjoying also, and also which helps to grow the channel. It's interesting. The videos, we've been uploading one a week, and the videos have been generating 5 times as many subscribers as Coffee and Crypto, because the videos are a great way to bring new people in, and Coffee and Crypto is this great place that we can all come to fellowship and commune together and learn about crypto together. I've got some cool ideas with that as well, but I don't want to spill all the beans all at once. We're going to kind of implement a few things as we go. All right, let's go ahead and read some chat. And we'll go ahead and get straight into it. We've got 215 people watching. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. We've got Daniel J in chat. He said, morning. I'm just kidding. He said, I swear I can spell. He said morning. Good morning to you, Daniel J. BTC Crypto Alert said morning, Jebb. Crypto Mini Bike said good morning, everyone. When People's in chat said good morning, all. Let's see. AJ Knight said, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone has a blessed new month filled with many opportunities. Amen, for sure. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. We've got Kenneth Quinn in chat said, good morning, everyone. Have a blessed day. Grandpa Rock with the laughing, crying faces. Techno Guy said, what's cracking, Jebb? What's up, man? Good to see you. Welcome to chat. We got Vortak in chat. Silas E. Borg said, yo, what up, my crypto fam? There we go. We got a Gen Zer also in chat. Silas C. Borg said, yo, for real, though, it takes so long for a YouTube video to upload. It sure does. Yeah, because we upload our videos in 1440p now because we have got an insanely good camera over here, and this set is awesome. So we upload those in 1440p, so it does take a while to upload those. Silence said, good morning, fam. Knut Jansen said, love your work. Share your video on social medias because you are awesome. Well, thank you. Really appreciate that. Pew Pew Poom 2 said, I finally made it to live Jebb vids about yield farming and staking. Possibly in the future. Now that we've opened up those 2 upload slots for the week, I probably will be doing more than just technical analysis. I have some content that I want to do on teaching you guys how to manage a portfolio. I'll give you guys an option on that in a poll here in a minute. But let's go ahead, because we are on a little bit of a time crunch compared to what I'm used to. Let's go ahead and jump onto CoinMarketCap. Right now, Bitcoin is down 2.7% over the last 24 hours, trading at $28,514. It is up 3.26% over the last 7 days, up 23.8% over the last 90 days, and up 71.82% year to date. This is where I want to direct your attention. Bitcoin is up 71.82% year to date. Bitcoin is doing very, very well for itself over the course of this year, even if you are not seeing it do exactly what you want it to do over just the last couple of days or weeks. Ethereum is currently trading at $1,844. That's pretty significant because that does mean that Ethereum is still sitting in bullish territory. It's still sitting on the linear chart right around this region of this uptrending level of support. It's currently turning it into a resistance level. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But effectively, Ethereum is sitting right here in the very middle of its transitionary zone. Moving back on over here to CoinMarketCap, we can see that Binance is actually up over the last 24 hours, up 3.87%. And over the last 7 days, it is up 0.59%. That means that it took a major drop in the middle of the week, which you can actually see over here on the 7-day price action graph. If you just take a look at the 24 and 7, you can tell that happened also, because if it's only up a little bit over the last 7 days, but it's up even more over the last 24 hours, of course, it had to have a drop there in the middle. Over the last 90 days, it's only up 7.41%. Keep that in mind. There's a lot of broken trust with exchanges ever since good old Sam Bankman-Fried decided he was going to Sam Bankman leave the cryptocurrency space. XRP is sitting at 46 cents, down 2.6% over the last 24 hours. Cardano down 3%. Dogecoin down 3%. Matic down 3%. Solana down 5.5%. Polkadot down 3.25%, 3.33%. Litecoin down 3%. Tron's up a little bit. Justin Sun's pretty happy right now, probably. Maybe. We'll see about that. Nevertheless, the cryptocurrency market is going through a small tightening and correction, and I do believe I know the reason why that's happening. So let's go ahead and jump on over to CME Fed Watch. If you're not familiar with this website, this is a website that we go to quite a lot. This is the CME FedWatch tool. You can find this by going to cmegroup.com/markets/interest-rates/CME-FedWatch tool.html-tool. You're never going to type that out, and that's fine. Just type in CME Group FedWatch tool. Just type this right here into Google, and you'll find this website. It'll take you right to it. The next FOMC meeting is in 2 days, 3 hours, 49 minutes, and 11 seconds. Probably a few less seconds by the time you see this because of stream delay. But at that meeting, the Federal Open Market Committee will be deciding on the effective federal funds rate hike. At the moment, the effective federal funds rate sits at a range between 4.75 to 5%, so it's effectively 4.75%, otherwise known as 475 basis points. The overwhelming likelihood, as given to us by the CME Group, is that we will see a quarter percent, 25 basis point rate hike coming into play on May the 3rd. When that occurs, that will lead to a tightening, a constriction of markets. Why? Well, the vast majority of debt is based off of the effective federal funds rate. Credit card interest rates are based off of the effective federal funds rate. Mortgage rates are based off of the effective federal funds rate. Not always directly, but certainly indirectly. Auto loans are based off of the effective federal funds rate. Personal loans are based off of the effective federal funds rate. Business loans are based off of the effective federal funds rate. It's very rare, therefore, that you're going to find a interest rate that is lower than the effective federal funds rate. And the reason for that, very simply, is because if you want to make money as a bank, your job is to profit the difference. Most banks eventually are actually borrowing money from other people to loan it to other people. They are an intermediary. They're a middleman. You deposit your money into Chase. You deposit your money into Capital, whatever, into a certain bank. I don't use a lot of banks. I try to avoid it. So maybe I'm not the best at coming up with names. You deposit it into Chase, or you deposit into First Bank of Arkansas, or whatever your bank is. What you were doing is you might not realize it, but you were lending them money. You were saying, here you go. You keep my money safe from theft, and I, therefore, and provide me with certain financial tools, and I will therefore allow you to do something called fractional reserve lending with that money. This is what happened to Silicon Valley Bank and the few others like Credit Suisse that collapsed. They were lending out way more money than they were able to. They were running a very poor balance for the fractional reserve lending, and they went belly up because there was a bank run over $100 billion. When you put your money in the bank then therefore turns around and takes that money that they actually borrowed from you, because the money that you have in the bank is an IOU. They are in debt to you if you have money in a bank. Just so you know, you are the one that has the power if you don't have a loan with them, but you just have money in the bank. They are indebted to you. You are loaning them money, right? And the way they're paying you is with security and other bank services. Now, they like to flip the script and act like they're the ones in charge, but you're the one in charge, really, because it's your money. And there's plenty of consumer protections to ensure that it stays your money. They are borrowing money from you, then the bank turns around and they lend the money out in the form of credit cards, in the form of mortgages, in the form of auto loans, and they play the intermediary. They have this capital base that they get because they borrow money from you and then they lend it out. So whatever they pay you in interest in your savings account, they're going to charge more interest than that to whoever's borrowing money from them. So if you put money into a savings account right now, maybe you're getting 2, 3, 4%. Good luck with that. If you're getting 2, 3, 4% on a CD or whatever, and you lend them money, a lot of CDs are doing 4.75% right now because that's the base rate. They are paying you that much, but then the money that you deposit, they're going in fractionally reserve, lending it out at 6, 7, 8%. So the difference is what they make. If they go and borrow $100,000 from you and then they lend out, let's say they borrow $120,000 from you, just make it simple, and then they lend out $100,000 because they have to keep some in stockpile in case you want to withdraw. There's a certain protections on that ever since 2008. And there very much should be, because fractional reserve lending is a very dangerous thing if you don't do it right. It's very dangerous in the first place. But if they're paying you 4.75% and they go and lend it at 8.75%, they're making 4% on that $100,000. They're making $4,000 in interest on your $100,000 that they're loaning out every single year. That's where the bank makes the majority of their money. Now, some banks make more money from their fees or whatnot, but that's where they make the majority of their money. The rates that they charge are based off of this number. This number is basically the industry standard for lending. It's not a mandate that you base your interest rates off of what the effective federal funds rate says. That's not law. That's kind of just the way it works. It's not law that 197 countries have to use the metric system. It's just that so many of them use the metric system because everybody else uses the metric system, right? It's an industry adoption. And there's a lot of other factors that go into it. But the point is, whenever the effective federal funds rate gets hiked, that leads every single other interest rate to go up. And for any of you who have ever tried to buy a house and you weren't doing it in cash, or any of you who ever bought a car and weren't doing it in cash, you know that you can spend a whole lot less money if you're not able to borrow for it. What do I mean? Well, if you're trying to invest in XYZ Corporation over here in the SPY, and let's say you're the CEO and you're trying to grow XYZ Corporation, and your company is publicly traded on the stock market, oftentimes you're not going to bootstrap whatever operation it is that you're doing. Oftentimes, you are going to go and raise money. You're either going to raise money from venture capitalists, you're going to raise money through a business loan, you're going to spend money on credit cards, whatever it may be. And through that business expansion, you are betting that the profit from expanding your business will then pay for whatever interest you paid on the loan that financed it. We've never done that because I personally try to avoid debt as much as possible unless it's something large like a home loan. We try and avoid debt as much as we possibly can. In fact, we personally as a family have a policy of paying off debt as much as we can every single month, and we're not debt free. We do have a little bit of debt on our home, but we have no debt anywhere else. That's the only place we do, so that we were able to afford a home because we're very young, but we wanted to purchase a home. We had to take out a mortgage for that. Not ashamed of that at all. But it is our desire and our dream to pay off that mortgage in the next 3 to 5 years. We have no doubt on anything else. We own both of our vehicles outright, etc. So that's not really how we operate. But the way the world operates oftentimes is that we try and take on this debt with this high interest rate, and we think whatever we borrow the money for, we'll be able to pay off the interest and the loan with the profit. A lot of times that works in business. Don't try that in cryptocurrency. Please don't do that. People try and take personal loans and then invest it into cryptocurrency and then do that. That's a bad idea. Why? Because you can't guarantee that the market will go somewhere. You have a lot more you're a lot more in control over where the market goes if you're investing, where your money goes if you're investing in a business. Regardless, business expansion, and here's the thesis for you. Business expansion oftentimes rides on debt allocation. What I mean by that is that to expand business and enterprise in the United States of America, more often than not, you are going to be expanding that business on the backs of debt. There's a very real practical reason for this. If you're like us and we want to get into doing rental properties at some point in the future, if you're doing real estate, it makes a lot more sense to put 20% down on a rental property and let your tenant pay off the debt and off the interest rather than locking up $150,000 in a property when you only had to put $30,000, because then if you have $150,000, if you use mortgages, then you can buy 5 properties at $150,000, and then all of a sudden you've got $750,000 in home equity. I'm sorry, not in home equity, in property value. And then the tenants, you have 5 tenants paying for those mortgages instead of just 1. So it makes sense in some cases to use debt. More often than not, it is a better idea not to, especially on the personal side. But in business, sometimes it makes sense. A lot of times it doesn't. But sometimes it makes sense to use debt. All of those decisions financially that are based off of debt necessitate interest rates, because that's how the people that are loaning the money make their money. And they all base what they're doing off of the effective federal funds rate. So how does that apply to crypto? When you see the effective federal funds rate move to the upside, even by only 0.25 basis points, that is a multi-trillion dollar impact on the stock market. You can see here I've drawn vertically the last 4 times the effective federal funds rate has been hiked. You can see this time here in late December, we saw within 8 days, the SPY dropped 7%. Here in February 1st, which was a meeting, we saw over the course of 40 days, the SPY would drop by 9%. That might not seem like a lot, but remember the SPY is valued in the tens of trillions. A movement like this is a wipeout of trillions of dollars of wealth. Every time the SPY moves by about 3%, it is moving up and down by the value of the entire cryptocurrency market cumulatively, not just Bitcoin, the whole thing. Then we saw a 25 basis point rate hike come here in March of 2023. This was our, I think, second 25 basis point rate hike. And so there wasn't that big of an impact because people were very excited that, oh, yay, now we're only moving up by 0.25 basis points. That's great. But now the trend has kind of gone from curving over to now it's just kind of flatlining and still moving to the upside at the same rate. The nuance of saying, oh, now we're only going up by 25 basis points is turning into, oh crap, we're still going up by 25 basis points. And so now we're probably going to see a correction on the SPY here in just the next couple of days. If not, great news. That means Bitcoin's going to do well. But we need to watch very closely to see how the stock market is going to respond to the effective federal funds rate being hiked by 25 basis points. Historically speaking, not just in these three data points as example that I showed you, but in many different examples, it is likely that the stock market will likely go through a small correction. The reason that that's significant is because Bitcoin is highly correlated to the SPY. So much so that we actually look at the SPY pretty often to see where Bitcoin is going and where Bitcoin is likely to go. You can see the correlation here. When the stock market was down, so was Bitcoin. When the stock market was rallying, so did Bitcoin. Stock market had a correction, so did Bitcoin. Stock market's rallying. That's great, but now Bitcoin's correcting today despite the stock market being up. What's the deal with that? I believe part of the reason that you're seeing Bitcoin correct right now, despite the stock market moving to the upside, is quite simply, just go ahead and hide all of my drawings here. Quite simply, Bitcoin is still undergoing a reckoning from what we showed you during last weekend's video, where we see the bearish RSI divergence that you can see right here, bearish MACD divergence, as a result of these rising levels of resistance. I think Bitcoin is still undergoing correction at this very moment from the fact that we had bearish RSI and bearish MACD divergence coming into play during the last 2 months, in March and in April, and the fact that Bitcoin never had a major correction. In that video that we just uploaded the other day, in fact, it was yesterday, I shot it on Friday, because just so you guys know why there wasn't a stream on Thursday, why the video was late, we had some, I'll just say complications with postpartum. Everything's fine now, but we had a little bit of a run-in with something, and so we had to take care of that on Thursday. That meant that I wasn't able to shoot and record the video on Thursday, so I had to shoot the video Friday at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I edited it overnight on Saturday night, so it went up exactly 24 hours late. I thought that'd probably be the most professional way to delay it, uploading it at the same time slot just the next day. So apologies for that video being a day late. Like I said, we ran into some issues with postpartum health-wise, but we're good now. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that in that video, I'll just go ahead and show you really quickly here. In this video that just went up, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go watch it. It's the video with Sam Bankman-Fried looking creepy on the thumbnail. Go watch this video if you haven't already. In that video, I said that Bitcoin will likely have, and I showed this chart. This is the chart from that video. I said that Bitcoin will likely have a correction moving into this red line here, which is May the 3rd, which coincides with the CME future, with the effective federal funds rate hike coming in on May the 3rd. And we'll see a drop moving into that, probably down to 28,545 or even lower. But right around the same time, you can see that I drew these lines right here. We'll probably be seeing a MACD cross bullish right around where we are right now. Now, instead, what's going on is that Bitcoin attempted to have a MACD cross. Of course, this correction is dropping MACD. But if we bounce to the upside, we're still going to see that cross at some point in the next week. And then we will probably rally moving into May the 10th. That's exciting news, because if Bitcoin goes through a secondary correction here through May the 3rd, and especially if it makes a lower low, I would love to see Bitcoin make a lower low. If Bitcoin makes a lower low down here and then bounces, that is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. The reason for that, we would essentially, we would essentially be putting into play a massive bull flag. You can see right here, it's not the prettiest bull flag or anything, but then Bitcoin could break to the upside moving through May 10th and try and rally back up to 32,935 after having an appropriate correction. Bitcoin did not have an appropriate correction yet. Bitcoin needed to go through that retracement. It needed to pull back somewhat. It needed to follow this downtrending zone of resistance that we talked about during Coffee and Crypto last week. It needed to be below 30K for a little while. It needed to reset. It simply had not reset far enough back here in early April when it should have. A month ago, Bitcoin was not doing what it was supposed to, so now Bitcoin is trying to do what it was supposed to by going through that corrective movement. This is not something that scares me in the slightest. This is something that's actually very exciting to me. I want to see Bitcoin have a correction. I want to see it have a correction quite a lot, and you can see by how difficult it was for Bitcoin to drop just below $29,000 here. We spent 3 days bouncing on this, setting shooting stars, trying to break 29K. That the bulls are very strong. This is not a weak this is not a movement from weakness for the bulls. This is a movement from strength for the bears, because the bears never got their shot. The bulls are still in play. The bulls did not capitulate here. The bears just finally overpowered them because they've been building strength for weeks without ever having a breakthrough. Now it's the bears' time for a little while. We'll see how far they go. We'll see if they are even capable of keeping Bitcoin below 28,545. Right now we're at 28,545. 28,460. It's possible that the bears are not even strong enough to push Bitcoin below 28,545, that critical level of resistance, that oh so important and powerful level that we've been talking about at length for months. It is very possible that the bears are not even capable of pushing Bitcoin below that level. But whatever the case may be, if you watched that video yesterday, that went out yesterday, almost just 24 hours and 25 minutes ago, if you watch that video, you'll know that a correction right now is all part of the grander plan of a major rally, followed by a small correction, followed by a small rally, followed by a major correction, and then repeat. Major rally, small to little correction, small rally, bigger correction, major rally moving on into May. That's a model that we have. We'll see if that plays out, but it is one that I am quite excited about. Now, of course, it's not just Ethereum that's in play right now. Excuse me, it's not just Bitcoin that's in play right now. There's also Ethereum, and Ethereum has a couple of differences on its chart that we should definitely pay attention to. First things first, if we look at Ethereum, it is smack dab in the middle of its transitionary zone, and it has an uptrending level of support right here that has come into play quite frequently over the last couple of weeks. Now, it's hard to tell right now whether or not Ethereum has actually broken bearish below this uptrending level of support because it's very difficult to tell where exactly this trend line should be drawn. Oftentimes, it is good to try and match the trend line as much as you can to as much of the history as possible rather than just the most recent data point, because you don't want to just change your technicals to fit whatever it is you want them to say. But what I will say is that whether Ethereum has broken below this uptrending level of support or not, it is very close to. And if Ethereum does have this break to the downside below this level, that will be akin to Bitcoin breaking into its transitionary zone. Bitcoin's up here above the transitionary zone. I could see it dropping down to $27,000, double bottoming, or even having a slightly lower bottom, bouncing somewhere in the middle of the transitionary zone. It could drop all the way down to 25,236 after the effective federal funds rate news comes out. That'd be great. I'd be over the moon if it did that, because that would give Bitcoin the leverage it needed to go into a major rally following. But if it does only drop down to 27,000, then Ethereum will probably drop down here to around 1677, maybe 1700, maybe 1750. If we do see Bitcoin dropping all the way down to 25,236, Ethereum will probably gain market dominance against Bitcoin, fall down to our uptrending level of support right here, which is roughly $1,600 at the lowest, and then it will bounce and rally from there. Point. Both of these markets needed a correction. Both of these markets didn't want a correction. It's a little bit like my son. You guys know I have a 2-year-old named Malachi. Incredible kid. I have a great relationship with my son. He's an amazing, kind, gentle, sweet boy. He loves to run around. He loves to play. He loves it when I pick him up and I throw him around and we have fun. But there's one thing that is like the hardest thing for him in his entire life. And this just shows you how much love he gets, that this is the hardest thing that he has to go through. The hardest thing that my son, my 2-year-old, has to face in his whole life is nap time and bedtime. That's the thing he hates the most. He hates bedtime more than anything. And the reason is because he's so excited. He's so curious. He's a little scientist. He's a little football player. Like, he wants to run and experiment and say, "Daddy, what that?" That's what he says. Like, he wants to run around all over Kingdom Come and run laps around the dinner table and around the island and just have zoomies all day long. And I'm pretty spry myself, so I can keep up with the kid. So we'll go back and forth for hours. It's great. I love it. He hates taking naps. He hates going to sleep because he's so interested in the world that you can't explore while you're asleep. And a lot of times I feel like the market's kind of in his boat. The market has this little bit of, and I don't say this in a demeaning way, but it's a little bit of immaturity where it's difficult to see the benefit in nap time and in bedtime because it's not immediately apparent. How does this apply to me? I'm not able to do anything. So I try and teach him. I'm like, "Malachi, look, you want to be big and strong like Daddy?" I show him that. And he's like, "Yeah, I want to be big and strong like Daddy." And goes like this. I say, if you want to be big and strong like Daddy, then you've got to go to sleep because your muscles grow while you're asleep. They don't grow while you're up running around. You're breaking down your muscles. If you want to be big and strong and be super fast, you gotta sleep and build those muscles and grow. You grow when you're asleep. He's still trying to understand that because he's only 2.5. It's understandable, but I want to teach him rest is actually a very good thing because it's what allows you to run around in circles all day. Without rest, you can't do that. You're exhausted. That's where Ethereum is right now. That's where Bitcoin is right now. Bitcoin and Ethereum had a nap time right now. This is really funny. You can tell I'm a parent to a toddler. Bitcoin and Ethereum had a nap time scheduled right here around. For all of you guys who are parents, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a parent, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about unless you have younger siblings. But if you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Our 2-year-old, Ethereum and Bitcoin, had a nap time scheduled right here. Right here. They're supposed to go down for a nap. Now they're cranky as all get out because they didn't take their nap and they're exhausted, and now they're trying to fall asleep. This market needs rest. And I think this announcement, the effective federal funds rate coming out, will be the announcement that rocks them to sleep and helps Bitcoin and cryptocurrency go through their correction, helps Bitcoin and cryptocurrency move to the downside, have a little bit of rest, a little bit of reprieve, so that they can get ready to run again. And I do believe that while that is not the most fun thing for the market or for its investors, it is absolutely critical for Bitcoin to be able to run with the energy that it wants to run with. That's my take. Restated very simply as I can. Bitcoin will go through a correction over the next few days, more than likely. That correction will be driven somewhat by the effective federal funds rate hiking by 25 basis points. I don't think it's fully priced in, although it probably should be because it's pretty much guaranteed at this point. Bitcoin will then find a bottom, either where it is right now, maybe all the correction's over and it bottoms out 28.5. That's possible, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'd like it to get more than a 20-minute nap, you know what I mean? It's not necessarily a bad thing. It does show strength in the bulls. It shows exuberance in the bulls. It's great. Be good to get some rest. But from there, wherever the bottom is, and I'm not going to give you my exact prediction of the bottom, it's somewhere in the transitionary zone, either 28.3, which is where it already bottomed out, or lower. We can talk about the specifics on that later. That's not really that important. What's important is that moving through May 3rd, there's also going to be some turbulence. There's going to be some turbulence because we don't know exactly how that's going to impact crypto. Oftentimes, it's been a very bearish event for crypto, but we don't know that that's going to happen again. So we need to watch out and be ready for anything with the understanding that it will probably go through a correction, but we don't know that. Following all that, CPI, I believe, is going to go through a drop, and when it goes through that drop from 5% down to maybe 4.8, for reasons that I've talked about in previous streams, I'll talk about in future streams, I do believe that that drop will be significant. When that occurs, that will send Bitcoin, wherever it sits at that time, to the upside significantly. Bitcoin has already managed to have a $4,000 drop from its local high. Bitcoin had a $2,000 drop. Basically nothing back over here. Virtually nothing worth of a drop. Bitcoin at least had some kind of drop this time, which will help to prepare it. And it's having a second one too, which also adds to it, which will help to prepare it for a break up to 32,935. I do believe from there Bitcoin will be on pace to confirm a bull market. One of the reasons that Bitcoin is on pace to confirm a bull market right now is because of Lux Algo. If you guys don't remember, we made a video right back over here called A Perfect Indicator, calls a $70,000 Bitcoin, Lux Algo. That is not to say that Lux Algo is perfect on every single time frame, but what I showed you in that video is that out on the weekly chart, Lux Algo has a literally perfect track record, where whenever it says a buy signal is coming into play, that buy signal, if confirmed by TrendCatcher, it's happened 9 times. The 9th time happened in January. Every single time, that has led Bitcoin through a gigantic rally. Every single time. Lux Algo had a buy signal here, and we're actually above a lot of those kind of mid zones that you see on Lux Algo right now. We're moving well to the upside. We're even into the take profit areas of this buy signal. Now, we're probably going to move further than that, but we're in great standing with Lux Algo right now. It's wonderful. I do believe we're entering into a bull market, but it's going to take time to confirm that. I think more confirmations are necessary. Remember how I applied Matthew 18:16 to that yesterday? In the Bible, it says, but if he will not hear thee, then bring with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. That's essentially when you're convicting somebody of sin, a believer of sin. You see it yourself. You're like, whoa, buddy, that's not cool. We got to talk about that. You go and talk to the person. They don't want to hear it, even if you show them the word. Now, we're talking about between believers here, not about condemning or convicting unbelievers, but between believers here. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And from there, if you've got 2 or 3 witnesses, they're saying the same thing, like, yep, that dude's an unrepentant sin. He doesn't seem to think there's a problem with it, even though it says right here that it's sin. Then you go to the church. Again, that's for believers, if somebody's professing to be a Christian. Same thing in cryptocurrency, similar thing in cryptocurrency. If you have one confirmation, if you see a confirmation from one technical indicator, then the best bet is to come back and see if 2 or 3 other technical indicators confirm it, so that you can have multiple witnesses, if you will, multiple indicators that witness the movement. Right now, we've got our one indicator. That's Lux Algo. It's called a bull market. I'd like to bring with me one or two more that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, this bull market may be established. That's where I am right now. And so I do believe that we're going to want to see more. I think one of those other witnesses, if you will, would be a break above 32,935. I'd be very excited to see that happen. All right, we're going to move into a period of reading chat. And I've got a, let's see, I have a poll I want to run for you guys here in a minute as well. There's some good questions in chat. Randomness said, God bless baby Jebb. Thank you so much. I am doing well. If you can't tell, I haven't told you yet, but I am getting sick. My wife is pretty, how would they say in my generation? Down bad with a cold. I am as well. So I'm probably a day or two behind her. So expect me to get probably a little more sick over the next 2 days. And then my body will probably be mostly healed by Friday. That's typically how it goes with these colds. It's not COVID or anything. I can tell. It's just a head cold. It's spring. But we're doing pretty well other than that. Getting a lot of sleep. Our daughter is just a little angel. She cries for almost nothing. She makes a little, if she needs something. And then otherwise she just lays there and just chills. You know, she yawns and then her passy falls out of her mouth and she gets upset about that. But other than that, she's like chillest baby ever. We're not sleep deprived. I've told people that and they just look at me dumbfounded like, you're telling me you have a 3-week, she's 3 weeks old tomorrow. You're telling me you have a 2-week-old or a 1-week-old or a 3-week-old and you're not sleep deprived at all? Nope. I'm good. I'm fine. I got like 9 hours of sleep last night. I slept too much last night. How's that for being blessed? The Lord's good for us. Excuse me, not good for us, good to us. He's blessed us in that way, considering the pregnancy was so difficult. Rice ETR said, Jebb, what's the official bull market confirmation? Great question. So, as I said, I like to establish these things with one or two more. Lux Algo, in my opinion, confirmed the bull, not confirmed, but was the first early warning sign that we were going into a bull market because that got confirmed right when we broke through 25,236. This whole movement in here, where we broke through 25,236, set a new higher high. This movement in early March, so we're talking almost 2 months ago now, I think was the warning sign. It was the canary in the coal mine that a bull market was coming. At this point now, we are seeing that Bitcoin is trying to maintain itself up here. If Bitcoin breaks through 32,935 and starts trading up there, that's where I'd start to say, yeah, we're in a bull market. Reason being, bull market territory is kind of sitting up above this zone. The transitionary zone is right below that, but then there's also like the second transitionary zone between 28,545 and 32,935. When Bitcoin gets above 32,935, it's in the same ball game. It's in the same ballpark that it was during 2021 when all of the bullishness was taking place. So that's where I want to see Bitcoin getting back up above that zone, and I think it will relatively soon. All right. Now, I have a poll that I want to run for you guys. My daughter was the same until she woke up at 2 to 3 months, Lido Bro said. Yeah, that's what we're kind of wondering, is if this is going to like get a lot harder here in a month or two. It might. And if it does, God help us. But the Lord will protect us. Would you like to? I have a poll I'm going to run for you guys. Hang on 1 second. I have an idea for something that I think you guys would really like. Would you like to see guests on Coffee and Crypto? Mostly viewers or Club DeFi members is the poll I just put in chat. What I mean by this is that I had an idea, and I want to pitch it to you guys, about a segment of the show, 5 to 15 minutes or so. Not necessarily every show, but on some shows where I bring on a guest in a Zoom call. And that would mostly be for the purposes of me answering your questions about financial sovereignty. So you guys could talk to me about your personal finances if you're open to that. You guys could talk to me about your investment strategy. You guys could talk to me about whatever it is that you'd like to talk to me about. Sometimes we might bring on a sponsor every once in a while. Very rarely. I like to keep those as I like to keep the sponsors on the videos, which there's going to be sponsors on the videos relatively soon. We're working with NordVPN, by the way, so that's not guaranteed, but we should be having Nord sponsor us. So we've got some pretty high profile sponsors coming to the channel relatively soon. It's not confirmed, but that is a hope. But we'd also potentially bring on guest appearances from other YouTubers that you know. I'd love to have Nicholas Merton, George from Cryptos R Us, or some of those people over on the show every once in a while. That'd be wonderful. But the main thing that I'd be interested in is not sponsors or other YouTubers, because you can watch their videos over on their channel. What I'd actually be most interested in is bringing you guys that are in Club DeFi onto the show. and like making it a perk where, hey, if you join Club DeFi, you get to come on the show once. That's something that I'd be interested in pursuing. So you guys let me know what you think about that. We've got 63 votes. We've got a lot of yeses in chat. We're watching, just to be very upfront, I don't want anybody to think like, oh, you got this idea. We're watching some of Dave Ramsey's content. I don't want to copy Dave Ramsey, but I've got a lot of similar ideas to him. And one of the things I loved about his show and some of the most interesting content that he would do is not just when he was sitting at the camera talking, is when he was having a back and forth conversation with somebody and they were saying, I've got $63,000 in credit card debt. I've got $132,000 in student loan debt. I've got a $427,000 mortgage and $582,000 in equity. I make $58,000 a year. I've got $723,000 in debt to pay off. How do I get through that? And then he kind of sits there and works it out with them and just kind of wrestles through that problem. That's something that I'd really be interested in doing, is not copying Dave Ramsey, but bringing you guys on and tackling head on whatever it is the biggest problem that you guys have. And I don't claim to be an expert on every single technical indicator. I don't claim to know everything about every single little altcoin. I don't claim to know everything about every single news story. That's not my expertise. I'm not trying to learn about every single little tiny altcoin. My dream and my vision for this channel would absolutely and has always been simply to help you guys achieve financial sovereignty. That is the goal of everything we do. And that is also the goal of Club DeFi. If you guys are not aware of Club DeFi, this is the place where I am pouring my heart and soul into to teach you guys how to be financially sovereign. Let's just break it down. What is financial sovereignty? Simply put, financial sovereignty is your money serving you rather than you serving your money. In Genesis chapter 3, I think it is, the Lord tells us to, or it might be chapter 1 actually, tells us to go and have dominion over the earth, of the birds of the sea, of the birds of the sky and the fish of the sea and the earth. He tells us to go and have dominion. That's a word that means kingship, rulership, authority over the earth. That does not mean tyranny. That does not mean animal abuse. That does not mean abusing other humans. That does not mean dictatorship at all, but it does mean leadership. It does mean a self-sacrificing stewardship of this earth and of our finances included. So if you're going forth into the world and your money is running you, rather than you being the one that's in authority over your own money, then you've got it backwards, my friend. And the majority of America has it backwards. The majority of the developed world has it backwards. They slave away to their finances, whether it be slaving away to the debt that they're in, or slaving away to a job that they are not called into, or slaving away to whatever it is financially. Maybe they're paying for someone else's lifestyle, and when that person ought to be working and paying for their own lifestyle. Whatever it is, they are financially dependent. They are subservient and a slave to their own money. That is not God's vision for your life. God's vision for your life and for all of our lives are to be on top of our money, that it not be an idol in our lives. Money should be below, supporting us in a position where it helps to fund our ministries, in a position where it helps to secure what we need to go and do whatever it is that God's calling us to. It is not something that we should be a slave to. Ever. That is an absolute. We should never be slaves to money. And if we are, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And something needs to change. That's not God's vision for your life. I'm not saying that God has a vision for you to be rich. He might have a vision for you to be flat broke. But then you can still have this mentality in your mind that you are overcoming your finances because maybe you have an opportunity to go make $70,000 a year, but instead you're choosing to make 20 because that's where God wants you. I'm not saying God wants you to be rich. Let me be very clear, because God does call people into poverty. Missionaries, a lot of times, are very poor, but they're working for the kingdom. I'm not saying he calls you to be rich, but I am saying he calls you to have mastery over the flesh and over money. That's what I want to teach you guys. I want to teach you guys how to be financially sovereign. That's one of the reasons that we made Club DeFi. By the way, Club DeFi is not about, the gospel is not about the Lord. It is a place where I like to share what I love, which is my Lord Jesus. But Principles of Technical Analysis in Club DeFi is where I teach you about technical analysis. This is purely a technical analysis course. This is going to teach you everything you need to know about technical analysis. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. This is a really cool thing. I'm just going to be upfront with you. Club DeFi is not done. Not even close. Principles of Technical Analysis is a done product. I want to add a couple videos, but it's a done product. All of Club DeFi, I want dozens of courses in here teaching you guys how to be financially sovereign. That doesn't just include technical analysis. That also includes how to trade. That includes how to invest. That includes how to manage your personal finances. That includes the stock market, because I don't believe that you have a complete investing portfolio just in crypto. I believe for you to be financially sovereign, there's a whole lot more that goes into that than just technical analysis. This is just our start. This is just where we're beginning, is teaching you technical analysis, because that's what I grew up in here in entrepreneurship, and that's what you guys love so much. But ultimately, my dream for you is to be a master of your finances and not the other way around. That's the vision of Club DeFi, painted as simply and as boldly as I can possibly put it. And I built it for the sake of serving you, and for this to be a ministry unto you, where hopefully I can make a difference in your life, and hopefully all the glory wouldn't go to me, but it'd go to the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what I did this for, and that's what we're doing this for, and that's where this is going. So if you're interested in Club DeFi and that vision, you can sign up with the link in the description box down below. If you're in CT2A, you can get a coupon code by shooting us a email, support@cryptojebb.com. We will get you that coupon code generated for 25% off of Club DeFi, Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis, as a thank you for being a member of the original product that got all this started. And if you were in Club DeFi's beta, shoot us an email. We'll give you a coupon code off for Club DeFi for as much as you put into the beta. So a lot of people put like 100, 175, whatever dollars into the beta. We'll give you a coupon code that large. Cannot serve both God and mammon, I, the beholder, said. That's exactly my point. That is exactly my point. All right. Guess that give away free coins to promote. Nope, that would be a rule. And if we have a guest on, I'd probably have like a button like, bonk, red button. Nope, you're gone. No, I'm kidding. I probably wouldn't do that. All right, guys, we are going to have to go ahead and wrap it out. I really do appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Two things I disagree with when it comes to Ramsey, crypto, and credit cards. Yeah, I don't think he likes crypto. Crypto is a risky thing. It is a much more risky endeavor, and he's much more on the wisdom front of things than the savvy front of things. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Credit cards, I think, do have a use, but if you're paying them off monthly. Here's a tip on credit cards, by the way, and then I'll wrap it out. If you have a credit card, your best bet is to set it up on auto pay for two reasons. Number one, you will not be carrying a balance at the end of the month because it will automatically debit from your bank account to pay off the credit card. The second reason is because if there's fraud, by the end of the month, you will have paid for the fraud if you were not doing your job and reading the statements. Those are two reasons to set up auto pay on a credit card. You'll never carry a balance because it will debit your bank account, and if it debits your bank account and you go negative, then you shouldn't have spent that much money, and the overdraft fee is your punishment. Take the spanking and walk away. Second reason, if you get fraud done on your credit card, you should have caught that before the month rolled over, and you should have frozen your card and called the credit card company. Set up your credit cards on auto pay every single time. It's the best thing you could ever do for yourself in the realm of credit cards. Guys, got to wrap it out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, sign up for Club DeFi and Principles of Technical Analysis. Sign up for Lux Algo. Use coupon code JEBB30, JEBB30 for 30% off at checkout. Guys, that's all I got for you. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Before I wrap it out, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.